What's good, people? Time for another Magic Man review. All right. Now, I know it's been a little while, but I have been reading. Just this whole Christmas time, holidays, turning to New Year's, it's really not me. I don't really like this time of year. It's cold, it's dreary. It makes me want to move to Florida. You know, I don't like all this cold business. I'm getting too old for that. Anyway, I was reading. Got a new book for you, and it's a good one. Uh, this book is Ruled by Secrecy by Jim Marrs. Now, Jim Marrs is one of my all-time favorites. Really is. Passed away a few years ago. He wrote some really good books. I think the one that really is, actually the two books that are probably some of his best are The $1 Trillion Conspiracy and The Rise of the Fourth Reich. Okay. Now, conspiracy books, they're my bread and butter. I love hidden knowledge. As you can probably tell from watching these videos, I love hidden knowledge and stuff that it's really out of the norm. You know, the stuff you watch on TV or the History Channel, it's passe. I don't care for that stuff. I don't even watch television. It's propaganda. That's why you need to read books. Anyway, Jim Marrs, like I said, he passed away a couple years ago. And I miss him. He's one of the really good ones. You know, some of these guys out there, they're really clowns. The conspiracy guys, you know, they're telling you a bunch of nonsense and disinformation. They mix in good info with bad info to discredit, you know, the good info. And guys like Jim Marrs really kind of researched his stuff a lot. He taught a course down in Texas, where he was from, and on about the JFK assassination. And if you believe what happened during the JFK assassination, you really need to get your head examined. Like, one gunman shot all those people. You know, it's crazy. You know, we kind of most Americans kind of sort of know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, what happened. Okay. Kennedy was doing all kinds of stuff that the system did not like, and this book gets into that too. There's a lot of that good stuff. I didn't write any notes for this, and the reason was because most of the things in this book were stuff that I already pretty much knew, for the most part. There was a few little gems here and there that I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. But for the most part, I kind of knew it. Like I said, great researcher. Really put some time forth in this stuff. Now, this book is if you have never really taken the plunge down that rabbit hole. Okay, you can call it conspiracy. Some people call it the red pill. I don't really go by those. Those terms have been really kind of tainted. Like, you know, if you say you're like, oh, take the red pill, everybody's jumping on this red pill bandwagon. You know, I'm like, whatever, dude. You know, it used to be about guys, you know, picking up chicks during like the game stuff and the men's rights movement. Or now it's the manosphere taking the red pill. I'm like, once it gets really popular and everybody else is doing it, you know, I'm checking out. I'm a contrarian. You know, if I see everybody else going this way, I'm going the other way because most people are stupid. You know, that's just me. Okay. But if you've never really taken, I'm going to call it realism. Okay. If you've never gone down the path of realism and see how the world actually works and some of the hidden machinations to go on behind the scenes, then this book is for you. It really is. You need to, if you're a normie and you're like, oh, I believe what the television tells me. All of a sudden, guess what? You found out it was a lie. You start to say, you know what? What else are they lying to me about? You know, and it could be anything. It could be like the government, society, your friends, your religion. You know, some people it hits us really hard. You know, they can't really cope. Like, I can't believe this. No, these guys are full of crap. They're a bunch of right-wing nut jobs, or left-wing nut jobs. Who knows? They're a bunch of kooks. They said that stuff can't be true. They would never do that. Oh yeah, they would. They've been doing it for ever since mankind. People have had conspiracies ever since men have been on this earth in their current form. Okay, even maybe if they were like cavemen, they could have been conspiring against the dinosaurs. You don't know. You weren't there. Now, conspiracy is illegal for the most part, and you can conspire about anything. So if I theoretically YouTube, okay, this is just an example. Okay, so if I and another guy get together and say, hey, you know what? On Thursdays, that bank's getting a large cash shipment. Why don't we disguise ourselves as the Brinks guys with the armored trucks, and just go in there and take it, or whatever. We could rob the bank. That's a conspiracy, okay? And it's illegal just to do that. Say, okay, guess what? Thursday comes, me and my dude are waiting. We're getting ready to, rip off this bank for a lot of money. But you know what? It's like, got a bad feeling. I think the cops are there. I think they're waiting for us to go in there. It's like, you know what? Let's just call it off. We'll find something else to do. Maybe we'll get legit jobs, whatever. And we didn't do it. Other guy gets pinched for something, and he says, well, you know what? I'm gonna rat out Magic Man. Me and Magic Man were conspiring to rob that bank over there. Guess what? That's a crime. It's in the law books. Look it up. Okay, so that's a conspiracy. So once you hear a lot of the stuff, especially for the media, because it's just propaganda, most of the stuff the media sells people. They try to tell you how to think and what to think. Okay? And all the time masquerading as free thinkers. Once you go down the rabbit hole with books like this, okay, now this is just a primer. This doesn't get into the really deep stuff. If anything, this is just like the scratching off the surface. But most normies can't handle stuff like this. They cannot do it. It's not in them. But I really miss Jim Mars. He was a good one. He really was. He's like Santa Claus with a cowboy hat. Oh man, he just kind of reminded me of like one of my older relatives. That are no longer with me. And when I was reading the book, I could hear his voice. It was great. But I'm not gonna just totally say, hey, this is a great book. One of the things about books like these, not conspiracy books per se, but just books that are written for a Western audience from a Western point of view. This stuff, it goes into conspiracy from the Western society. Okay, it goes into some of the stuff between the ancient world from the Western point of view. Okay, because Western society comes from Mesopotamia. Okay, the languages, the customs, the religions, they didn't spring forth from Europe and then transplant themselves over to, the Americas. They originated in what's called West Asia or the Middle East. Okay, gets a little bit into that, but not so much, really. It's from a Western point of view. So it does a lot of stuff about Christianity and religion. And that's a given because a lot of these conspiracists, people who dealt with cults, black magic, and all kinds of plots and things like that, they were Christians. Okay, they were subsets of the Christian church. Okay, so it kind of left out a lot of the Eastern stuff, the Chinese, Japanese stuff, Korean, Indian. There's nothing Persian. There's a little bit of Persian stuff, not really. But when you leave that stuff out, you're leaving out like a good part of human history. A real big chunk. It wasn't just about the West, okay, and it wasn't just about Christianity. Christians are the new kids on the block, right next to Islam. They haven't been around that long. We seem to think 2,000 years, 1,000 years is a long time. That's nothing, really. When you're dealing in ancient history and human civilization, it's nothing. All right. Another problem I have with the book is the sources. He sources a lot of other conspiracy guys. like David Icke. It's like, well, this conspiracy guy says this. I'm like, well, you know what, bruh? I already know what the other guy thinks. So, but like I said, I've already gone down this rabbit hole. It's deep. If you've never gone down this rabbit hole and you're kind of like a little curious, this is the good thing right here. This is a good book to read. All right. All of Jim Mars's books are good books. Now, this one was a little dated, but it was actually before 9/11. And a lot of the stuff in here, if you had read it before 9/11, you would be like, oh, yeah, not really sure that's that really went down the way you said it did. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to get too conspiratorial, but yeah, a lot of stuff in here has come to pass. One of the good things I really do like about this book is a lot of the stuff, the direction he was headed. Some of the stuff has panned out and some of it hasn't. Some was like, yeah, Jim, guess what? The plans of these goofballs didn't really work out that great. Yeah, kind of fell flat on their face. Some of the stuff is like eerie, like, oh man. They saw it coming. They saw this stuff coming, and guess what? We're living through it. It's like a weirder version of Black Mirror. It's like, dude, can I change the channel? You know, can I go to another internet page, download something else? I don't want to be in an episode of Black Mirror. But hey, truth is stranger than fiction. Okay, so, and some of the stuff is just kind of crazy. It's kind of outlandish. I digress. But it's a good book. It'll really help you get into realism, how the world really functions, you know. Oh, and another thing, he blames a lot of stuff on conspiracy. Was there conspiracy involved? Yes. I'll give you an example: the American Revolution and the French Revolution. Now we know, if you've been listening to my my videos, watch the French Revolution video, that there's a lot of stuff going on, and he wants to blame it all on, you know, conspiracy, you know, or a lot. He doesn't say all of it was due to conspiracy. He's like, oh yeah, he kind of insinuates and leaves you to draw that conclusion. That's where he leads you, but he lets you go the rest of the way. It's like, oh, okay. It's like saying, hey, you know, I hear Burger King's got some really great hamburgers. Hey, I went to Burger King the other day and I got a really crappy I just heard it. That's what I'm passing on what I heard. Okay, I'm insinuating Burger King has great hamburgers. You know, which they do, by the way, Burger King. I love the Whopper. It's great. And the onion rings, best ones. Anyways, but I'm just saying, he kind of insinuates stuff and leads you down to that path. And I'm not going to say he's being disingenuous. Just the way, it was his style. He kind of like puts it out there and he gives you the ball and lets you run with it. Okay, he gives you the information that he's compiled, and he doesn't really draw a whole bunch of conclusions. He kind of lets you come to your own conclusions, which isn't a good and a bad way, but sometimes you feel like he's kind of steering it. Okay, not everything is conspiracy. Okay, the French nobility were a bunch of pricks. Okay, they mistreated their people and the society and the church. The French Catholic Church were a bunch of bloodthirsty zealots. They were corrupt as hell, and nobody liked them. They didn't need a conspiracy. They just needed a spark for them to just lose all their property and their lives and everything. All the church property got confiscated during the French Revolution. Okay, that was not a conspiracy against Christianity. It wasn't a conspiracy against the church. They were effed up people. That's what happened, okay? Was there some stuff in the background going on? Was there some wheelings and deals? There always is. There always is, okay? And that's what you need to know about stuff like this. There's always some stuff going in the background. There's some wheeling and dealing in the background. Sometimes things get pushed along. It doesn't always happen on accident. Sometimes it's a combination of things, okay? Anyway, I digress. I don't want to make this video too long. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. Been busy. Have been reading. But I just have been grinding. Okay, kind of time of year you just kind of want to hibernate a little bit with a good book. All right, people. Ruled by Secrecy by Jim Mars. Check it out. Till next time.